Scout, I appreciate you coming on. We were just chatting, and I was just saying the same thing, and I still feel the same way now. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I still feel the same way as well.
I don't believe you, but that's okay. I wanted to start here, though. You're originally from Kansas City, right?
Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, I was wondering, is it Kansas or is it Missouri? Okay.
Yeah, that's usually the first question. I like to have people guess because, in my opinion, there's a difference between Missouri and Kansas, and the kind of, yeah.
I bet there is. I don't know what the difference is, but I bet that there is one. I mean, separate states, but still.
Separate states, but there's a, people are people. People are, different everywhere, but I'd say yeah.
Sure.
I'm proud of being from the Missouri side because that's where a lot of the cool things of the city are. And yeah.
What's the population of that city?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know off the top.
Is it large or is it kind of has a small town?
It's growing because of tech and just, with how a lot of people are moving to cities and stuff like that. But I grew up outside of Kansas City in Independence, Missouri. My graduating class was still large. I think it was 600 or 700 or something. But, that's because it's so dense and then everyone goes to that school. I was the first to be picked up from the bus and the last, and it was a 40-minute bus ride.
Oh my.
School.
All right.
Yeah.
You just try to do some homework then, I guess.
Nah. Nah, no. Bus times were cool. I had a Walkman and, sometimes I'd have friends, but it was fine.
What were you listening to on your Walkman in those days?
So this would probably be when I was 10, 11, 12 is when I really started to getting into collecting music. I loved hardcore music. I loved Green Day too. I loved I had Under Oath, Kelly Clarkson, and Green Day, My Chemical Romance, The Used. But I was 10, 11, something like that. I loved screamo music. I loved heavy music. I loved, but I was also grew up religious. So, and then I got my first explicit CD. I was 12 and I got Amy Winehouse, Frank, and Lily Allen's first album. And that changed my life. That's when I started getting into more secular music with females, because I grew up and my dad was listening to rock and stuff. So I got that, but then it really expanded.
Sure. So they were, your parents and family, sorry about that. I'm dying over here. Your parents and family were kind of showing you a little bit of music, but you're kind of finding your own way with it as well.
Yeah. My mom liked the classics. My mom loved the Everly Brothers, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday, the Beatles. And then my dad loves Rush, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Black Sabbath, just the classic rock. Our thing would be listening to classic rock on the way to the grocery store. But then I sang with my dad at the church too. So when we, that's how I started singing and stuff.
So part of the church, that was your first kind of experience within music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. My first performance would have been when I was in what year was this? I can't remember. Yeah, I was 10 and me and my dad sang an Under Oath cover, and the lyrics are, Jesus, I'm ready to come home. It's a very emo song, and we sang it in front of the choir class that I had, an acoustic version, and then I sang with my dad at church, and then yeah.
That's a good deal. So did you? And you were on guitar at that point?
No. That would have been really cool. I wish. No, I taught myself music by the piano, just by ear, and freestyling ever since I was a little kid. And my cousins all were musical and all of that. And then I didn't start playing and teaching myself guitar until I was 19.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
a
so
little bit down the
later.
line, yeah.
Yeah. Because I wanted to play an instrument, but like I'm left-handed, and like my dad never really like, he was busy. He was working overnights and stuff. So we just like it, I didn't have anyone to like show me. And it's kind of like a really big part of my story of like how I started playing guitar. I was in college and I watched the live video session of Sharon Van Etten playing Pickathon. And I was so moved. Like it was like outside of my body. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I started learning her songs on the guitar and taught myself, like I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed. So that was a whole thing to get over. But I was really at it. And then I started writing my own songs shortly after that. And I reached out to Sharon like a year and a half down the line when I had my own material, and was just like, thank you for sharing your music. It inspired me to write this. And she was like, love this. If you ever come to New York, let's get lunch. And I was like, so I booked a ticket with my girlfriends to come to New York. And I got to get lunch with Sharon, and I told her my story and where I was at in Kansas City and what was a lot of things that happened. And I needed to get out of there. I just had to. And it had always been a dream of mine to move to New York. And she just like looked at me. I was like, you should move to New York. And she actually comes back in the picture. Like we stayed connected, but now my best friend is doing front of house sound for her. So it's kind of like this whole like, I don't know, it's really cool. And I'm just like very happy that I listened to my gut,
Absolutely, yeah. I would say it paid off. That's just
It-
that's just from someone
yeah,
looking at it from an outside perspective.
it's starting to pay off, like once a little bit more of this comes in, it'll be paying off, but it feels like it's paying off.
That's awesome. Were you self-taught vocally as well? Were you kind of taking the same course of action?
Yeah, I mean, I never really had voice lessons until later. Like I think it was just pulling from so many different inspirations. Like I was always singing. Like I always sang. I think seeing my dad sing, and he's such an amazing vocalist, and I was always so moved by him. It really, that was a big part of it, but also just like singing to songs. Like I have like very distinct memories of me being like 9 years old, screaming darling at the top of my lungs in the bathroom, or like singing to Pat Benatar on the karaoke machine, or Evanescence. Like I was always like really going for it, like even though I wasn't able to hit that at such a young age, but I felt like I was like doing it. So I'd say that it just really pulled from so many different vocal styles, because like yeah, like Kelly Clarkson and Evanescence and like Pat Benatar, and then Amy Winehouse, those are like, Billie Holiday, those are all like very different vocal styles. And then like my own personal dad, so that's like he sings like a very like croony classic rock, like uh yeah, so it's unique, I'd say. And it's cool because my favorite thing about being a vocalist and a singer is like it's always changing, and like it's really fun for me to try out different vocal styles, and to think that every show or every recording it's a different voice. So
That's awesome. Were there venues around you in Kansas City to go to, like when you were a kid, kind of just looking to go somewhere to see live
yeah,
music?
definitely. I mean, a big part of me and who I am is live shows, and I was really lucky that I started going to live shows when I was 10. And it started out with like the Christian hardcore alt scene, and then my first boyfriend and crush that I had when I was 10 years old, from the church we were going to, Jude Cash, he was the youngest of 6 siblings, and like siblings who were train hopping and like in the music scene. And that was my segue into like the DIY punk scene. And I started going to like crazy shows when I was 13, like which was really cool. And like I don't know, I was able to like finally, I didn't feel good in the church. Like I felt like I've always felt like a freak my whole life, and it was cool to be so young and like just accepted, and like just being exposed to really emotional and in tune people. Sometimes it was aggressive and scary, and I'd be like, wow, they're bashing their head against a metal pole, like it'd be like, okay, people smash beer bottles on each other's faces for fun, but like there was also this like extremely sensitive side that would come out. There'd be a campfire and someone would be playing like Blaze Foley or Townes Van Zandt on the guitar, and it was very like formative, I'd say.
It's a wide variety of things to be experiencing at such a young age, but that's good.
Yeah. And then then also like my religious side, like I was baptized, I had a bat mitzvah, I lived in a neighborhood with Mormons and RLDS and like all of that, so it was a very mixed bag. It's all a good story, which is it's good. Independence, sure. Missouri is a wild classic place, that's like unlike a lot of cities and towns.
At what age did you just say like, all right, I'm gonna start like making my own music kind of outside of the church and doing my own thing?
I mean, I guess deciding was when I was 19. I feel like I finally had like more confidence, still not really much. Like I'd say like it hasn't been until like the last few years that I've been able to be like, like, and still, I'd say, it was probably when I was 19, but I was writing songs and being creative like my whole time. But I almost went to school for theater, or to college, and then I changed my mind last minute to go to music after a choir concert, and my dad was like, you have to pursue music. Like I never see more of you than when you're like singing. And like I really took that to heart. And that's when I really like was just like, and my story, I feel like I've just been through a lot, and like a lot has happened, and it feels good to like overcome those through music and be able to like share that.
Do you think that you'd be sitting here feeling way differently if you did go down that theater route and being like, all right, I'm gonna do this instead of singing or music in general?
I would have a lot of regrets, because I like know how music makes me feel and how I feel when I'm doing it, and theater is fun, and it just wasn't for me. I feel like my authentic self and my like, my whole life has been based around music and everything ever since I was a little kid. It's like, it's just always been my vice. It's always been my go-to. I've always loved shows, and I think I would have really like just, because I know that like it was insecurity that what was stopping me. In my heart, I've always wanted to pursue music, but like it's a classic thing, when something's your biggest dream, it's what scares you the most. And I'm really like proud that like I chose music, because it's what felt right and what I wanted.
Sure. Were you part of other bands at in the earlier stages of your music career, like playing guitar or lending vocals to some other kind of projects before starting your own thing?
Certainly. I was doing backup vocals and stuff like that in Kansas City, and I recorded
Kansas City, Kansas, for people who are listening. That was Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas. I started like doing backup vocals probably when I was like 15, and then I started I started a solo EP that I put out on Bandcamp and then later took down, but I'll probably re-release it again soon, because I listened back and I was like, oh, this is actually good, but I felt insecure of it. And when I moved to New York, I wanted to start clean. But then I got in a band called Shadow Year, where I was writing the songs, and then my friend Tyler Wright was also writing the songs. And that went on for about 3 or 2.5 years in New York. And I started touring with Shadow Year, and then I started touring with my solo stuff kind of on the side. So the solo thing was always kind of like existing, but I don't know, it happened at the right time where Shadow Year, right when the pandemic hit, our bass player, who's actually always been my bass player for my solo stuff as well, he moved to LA, and then it just kind of naturally just went on pause, and I started focusing very heavily on my solo stuff after. And
Very
that paid
nice.
off.
Well, I mean, the jury's still out on it. We're kind of waiting on something
Yeah.
else.
We gotta wait on the jury to
Decide. Yeah, render.
Yeah.
You got to render the verdict.
Totally.
So what year did you move to New York? What year are we talking about here?
2017, so 5 years ago.
Okay, so relatively recently.
Relatively, yeah. It's crazy to think like 2.5 of those years have been, otherworldly. So, but I was in New York most of that time. So
Why was it New York and not LA or Chicago or something like that?
I mean, I guess everywhere, but like New York, it's so weird because like your apartments are so tiny and you're still paying so much for rent. And there's like, people in New York, it's such a nightlife, easy city to just like do everything in one day. And like, you couldn't do anything. So I don't know. I feel like it was just, it was truly some of the best times of my life, actually. It was just I don't know. Maybe it was like that everywhere, but it felt weird being in such a small space with roommates and like, yeah, I don't know, just hanging out at the park and going to the beach a lot, which I guess, yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to spend your time.
Yeah, and the unemployment money like funded my record. Like I would not have been able to do that at all. At all without the stimulus checks and the unemployment money, because I got to be paid for being an artist, and that was so cool.
That's good. That's government funded. You're government funded artist.
Right.
A lot of people could say that.
I'm sure I'm not the only one in that case that was just like, oh, money, like I'm gonna record a record that sounds really good. Like
when if you hadn't gotten that reassurance early on, right before you had moved, would you still have made the trek to New York regardless?
I don't think so. I think of like, I was also in a very serious relationship through that and through the move. Someone I had been with for 3 years and I was living with, and it was very attached to, but having someone who I looked up to so much and who like, I just like, yeah, I said, I watched that video of her playing that live session and it like, I felt it in my body. Like it felt life-changing, and I, watch live sessions all the time. So something in me knew it was like a bigger thing. I don't know. It was such a strange thing. And I think just having like me sharing my story and us having so many like relations and parallels in our life, like yeah, and her just like looking at me and be like, you should move to New York. And I was like, dang, yeah, okay. And I moved in like 4 months. Wow. It was really cool. Yeah. I just was like, I've always been a hard worker and had like lots of jobs, and I just like worked and saved, and I came to New York with $2,000 and no job, and I got a job like the first day I got here. It was so cool. And that's where I met my bass player. And he was the first person I played music with. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Where was the job? What did you get first day out there?
Toby's Estate Coffee, which is now known as Partners. I was a barista, and then my bass player, Ted Jameson, he was the coffee roaster. And like a few weeks in, I was just like, this guy seems like a musician, and I was like, what's up? I was like, you play music? And he was like, I dabble. And I'm like, cool, I got an EP out on Bandcamp. And he listened, and then like that encouraged me to then get a practice space and like it's crazy. I'm still playing music with him. Like he moved back to New York and is now playing with my solo project and touring with me.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much does a practice space cost in New York?
I got really lucky. I pay like $70 a month.
And that's government funded money there as
No,
well,
not
right?
anymore. I wish. I'm like trying to find something wrong with me to get on disability. I'm like, I think I'm going blind. No.
We're not cutting
I
that
just
out, by
got
the
this
way.
new
We're not.
shirt. I think this is gonna help.
That yeah. I think that might be like, all right. We gotta give this lady at least $70 per month in order to make this happen. That yeah, is it that's a steal over there? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I'd say for like what it is, because there's 2 windows or like 3 big windows and like a piano, and it's like bigger, it's a bigger space. Like sometimes I'll have like a 7-piece in New York, and like some practice spaces I've had in New York are literally like a shoebox, and I'm paying like $150. So I'd say $70 for what it is good, but that's also on top of my rent. And yeah.
Wow. So I mean, so you're obviously a millionaire to be affording all this, and you're
Yeah.
government funded millionaire. So
Right. I'm a government. Yeah, exactly.
this is where the people's tax dollars are going towards. It's supporting arts.
Not the schools, not the, yeah.
So you virtually knew nobody in 2017 moving there. Yeah.
No one. It was wild. So my cousin, in she lived in Harlem, which is like pretty much, you could say she was living in Connecticut, because I saw her like twice that first year, and she's like one of my, not twice, maybe like 3 or 4 times, but then she was leaving. She was planning on leaving. So I knew her, and that's it. Like, it was crazy. And Sharon did tell me before I moved here, she said it's going to give you hell. And but I think she knew I was tough. Like it certainly, I was put through the ringer. Like just even like coming from where I was come from, like I don't have, the support from family or anything like that. It's just like fully naked, knowing no one, like just like,
exposed.
Yeah.
And this was 2017, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It sounds like a pretty good year to move there, year wise.
Yeah. It was like a few years before the pandemic, and like, yeah, it's like 2018 and 2019. I've really started like touring and playing a lot of shows, and like my band got awarded from Brooklyn Vegan, like the most played bands. Like we had the most shows, like
Wow.
It was insane. I probably played 200 shows in 2018 or 2019. It was something crazy.
That's wild. How did you end up kind of broaching into like the new music scene of New York? Was it just kind of just going to different venues and just seeing who was there, or?
Yeah, I'd say it was just like really, shadow year. We played like a lot. Like when we were playing, we were just like saying yes to everything. We were going to shows. Like it was just like, booking in Queens, booking in Rockaway, booking like, just like
Harlem to see your
really,
cousin, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just, I think that just was really exposed us. And then I started my booking company, Roaddog Booking. And I just tapped more into the New York scene, and just like, just having a sense of what bands I liked and what I felt like we fit with. And
who was playing a lot and you would see often, or at least on different flyers and whatnot at that time that you moved there?
Gustav, Pecos, Johnny Dynamite, Weiner, Cindy Kane's still going strong. I mean, Gustav's doing great too. Pecos is a great friend of mine. Her music's awesome. Who else during that time? Gosh, there's so many bands in New York. But those were like definitely like in the pocket and playing a lot of shows and playing a lot of the same venues. And Gustav, I saw them at El Cortez and I was the only person there, and now they're like, doing, and Water From Your Eyes, we played with them, and now they just opened for Interpol and Spoon. Like, so cool. Like, I love Water From Your Eyes. Such a great project. Yeah.
Within that year of doing 7,000 shows, whatever it was that you guys did, what was some of the worst ones? Some worst, like, oh, this fucking really blows right now, whether it be like the venue or like just the scenario that you were in.
Oh man, I mean, there's been not so many, but there's been a lot, because it's just like, booking DIY and like me starting to book our own tours out and stuff. Like, there were just like some crazy times. But even when it seemed like it was going really bad, like this one show pops to my head. I booked a show. It was a solo tour that I did with my friend Katie Ray. And I booked us a show at this place called The Lot in Salt Lake City. And we show up, and it's like a literal lot with no bathroom, no running water. Like, Katie's aunt's trying to come to the show. And the guy there was trying to tell me that the locals canceled, but I booked the show. And I was like, they didn't tell me that. I reached out to them, and he told them that I was trying to cancel. And so I was like, okay, this is like done. And like, we had a rental car, and I was just like so angry, and I was like pulling out, and like I ran into a fence, like backed up into a fence and broke the headlight. And I was just like, but then we got like some crazy last minute, like on a poetry bill at this place called Twilight or something with a T. And it ended up,
we're gonna say it's Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight.
You of Salt Lake City, right? I've heard that place. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it ended up being one of my favorite shows. So that's a like good gone or bad gone good. But I mean, there's been like nights, we played in Nashville, and like, we were playing at this spot called Betty's Grill, and like the door guy got upset and kicked out all these kids who were harmless. Like, I hate when that happens. And actually a similar thing happened recently, like not in 2018, where like the door guy wouldn't let someone in whose ID was like 2 days expired. And it's like, come on, like this
rules are rules, Scout. Rules are, I mean, I was that door guy, and I don't feel bad about it.
I know.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'd say just like weird things like that when it's like venue problems, or like, also I remember that year there'd be like bigger clubs that we'd get, and I'd realize like just the whole, like when you're doing a door deal, like how hard it can be to state your worth and how much money you need to make in the beginning, because you're building out your career and your resume and your tour history. But like, I had a venue once in LA tried to get me to pay them for not making like their advertisement fee, and like the door, she ran after me outside of the venue, and I was like, I am not paying you money. There were 2 locals on this bill. I don't know anyone here. I told you that. I never played LA before. Like,
right. And then you hit her with the car, and then you broke the headlight.
Yeah,
Like, we gotta get out of here.
Right.
Back to Twilight.
Then I ran her over. No.
Yeah. That's just the business. That's just the music business. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And then also we had like a mini short bus, like a mini school bus that we toured in. It's crazy how we got that, but we toured in that for like, I had 4 tours in that bus. And like, that was always breaking down. So that was always drama around the tours, but awesome.
What makes a good show to you? Like, what are some like key aspects that are like, yeah, this show's gonna be good? Obviously, like the bouncer kicking out the ne'er-do-wells that have like, 2-day-old expired IDs, stuff like that.
I'd say my favorite kind of crowds would be like just crowds that are attentive and like, I don't know, present. Like, I think it's what's cool about touring and playing different venues is just like how different cities engage with artists and touring artists and new artists that they haven't heard. I mean, it's nice. It's, you can be really surprised by it, like play St. Louis and like not one person has their phone out and everyone's paying attention, like that's nice, because then it feels more like an exchange. Like I'm not just like playing a show and it feels like they're giving me something as well to work with. And that's what I look for, is being able to connect with the audience.
I'm just going on a limb here. It's probably like poor connection, or else they would be on their phones, like just like whatever they're doing, ordering pizzas or whatever. I don't know what people do
Right,
with their time. That's what I do on my
right.
phone when I'm out about.
Creating TikToks.
I mean, I like, you gotta order the pizza first. So that's
Right,
my
order the
whole thing.
pizza. Yeah, okay.
There's rules to it. Yeah. I'm trying to blow up on TikTok. So yeah, that's good. That'll be good for the algorithm.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take a note.
Yeah. No, but that's good. Do you feel disconnected when people are on their phones or filming you, like as you're playing?
Not so much, because I know, like, I mean, I do like to see the videos and to see how it sounded, sometimes, but when it's like, it is weird when like a bunch of people have their phones out, and they're like looking at the screen besides looking at you, and like, it's interesting, and it's also like, this just kind of goes to social media, but like also like for what? Like a 15-second clip, what does that actually like? I don't know. What does that show? Like I feel like you can't really know what it's like to see someone live unless you see them live. Or it's like a super high quality like crew, like with the equipment
Like
to
a
fully
Pigathon
capture
set or
that.
something like that. I don't
Right,
know.
right, right. But that's like, it can be interesting. Like there's been certain cities where for some reason everyone's just like, and then like there's some that I've played where no one has their phone out and I don't see a document of it ever, and it's actually really, really nice.
Does it feel odd? You're like, oh shit, like is it
Did
is
anyone
it
like
me?
me? No, because well, the show I'm thinking of in particular, like I got to like hug everyone after the show. Like it was a very like, I don't know, it was so awesome. It was one of my favorite shows I've ever played. And like I was like, even before I was like, oh, no one has their phone out at all, but like everyone's super engaged and like attentive and like really giving me something, and like, so it was memorable in that way. Yeah. But I mean, that's how I got my booking company name. Well, Road Dog is because my friends call me Road Dog. My friend Isaac McClung called me Road Dog first, and I was like, and I was like touring, and I was like, Road Dog booking. I was like, I could do this. Like, I was like, and then like I just like, I am a road dog. Like I love being on the road. I think I was trained for it because at a young age. So like I live in Kansas City, Missouri. A lot of my cousins, they lived in Colorado. And so I drove from Kansas City, Missouri to Colorado through Kansas multiple times a year.
Good drive, it seems like.
It's a good drive. It's 10 hours and it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I know like Hayes, Kansas, there's a McDonald's there. And
It's
then
local spot, local
right,
kind of secret spot. You kind of gotta like be there and spend some
and
time
then
there to know about it. Yeah.
and then I forget where it is, but then there's windmills about 5 hours deep, and that's really exciting to see. And then there's the smell of cow poop for the next 5 hours. So I think that trained me to be a road dog, because somehow I kept entertained through that, and like I liked it actually. And so now I love being on the road. I love driving. I love zoning out, just seeing, just driving. It's cool. It's more, yeah, it's more like a booking agent thing. And like I don't know, it's I have other clients that I take on. Usually I take on like 2 at a time, and like my whole, I don't know, mantra or purpose or whatever is to support independent artists and to get past the gatekeepers of music venues, to get touring artists who are independent, who haven't toured before out there. That's cool. I've been running it for like 4 years, and it's hitting another surge. I have so many amazing clients who want to, everyone's trying to tour right now. So it's been nice, but it's also really hard work. It's like so oversaturated right now. Everyone and their mother and their mother's boyfriend and boyfriend's daughter, are touring. It's like everyone's.
I do know the boyfriend's daughter. She's a nice gal. I do.
Yeah.
I do like her. So you're just basically taking advantage of like just like new up and coming artists and just taking their money, right? That was the whole point of the road dog thing.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. I take all of their money and I don't do anything for them. There is no guarantee.
Yeah.
And they don't. Yeah. They usually play places like the Lot, like where they show up and there's no bathroom, no running water. And I remind them, I remind them that like you have to go through the grit and
you got to pay your dues. Yes.
You got to pay your dues if you ever want to be on a support slot. So yeah. I make sure there's no water at any venue that they play at.
Gotta keep them hungry, gotta keep them thirsty. Yeah. No, that just drives ambition. Sure.
Right.
Do you usually send these groups of people out to places that you personally performed at, or do you just kind of take a risk some places? You're like, all right, I've heard about this place, it sounds good.
It's a mixed bag. I'd say like first and foremost, I definitely have like venues that I have an ongoing relationship with, that I book at, that I know that they treat the artists well, that I've played at before, and like they're more very, very like just easy connections, and I help them out because I get like good bills and like I'm in the city. But it's like there's somewhere it's like, so many venues are changing and so many venues are closing down and have since the pandemic, and there's a lot of shifting happening. So definitely like just someone I know. It's a lot of word of mouth. It's people and artists that I trust and like and I've worked with, their friends of their friends. It's just always kind of growing. And it's been cool because people have talked to me about Road Dog to me without knowing that I'm Road Dog. They're like, oh, I saw Road Dog put on your show, and then I'm like, I am Road Dog. Like that's me.
You gotta write it like, no, yeah, they're really, really great. They're super, super nice to me. I don't really get to drink a lot of water though.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's really, really fun.
I make no money from the shows. No.
Yeah, they keep it all. Whoever I don't never met them really. Honestly, I don't know who exactly they are, but yeah, I do. I do play some stuff.
Mega bitch. Yeah.
That's awesome though. That's so I mean you really do have that like do it yourself kind of mindset, even out, I mean still related to music but outside of the music itself.
Totally. Yeah, it's a big part of who I am. I think it's a big blessing, but in ways it can be a curse, because it's like it's hard for me to, like right now I'm so overworked with Road Dog, and a lot of people have shown interest in working for me. One reason like I'm really busy right now and like thinking of training someone, but it's also like I just like I don't know, it's like what if they mess up an email or like mess up a bill or like it's like on me. And like it's like that with my music career too. Like I am very hands-on with everything. So
yeah, hands-on, otherwise known as a control freak, but then yeah. Unable to relinquish any power.
Free me.
How long have you been doing that for though? When did you start it? When do you feel it, Road Dog began? What year?
Road Dog started in 2018.
Okay.
Towards the end of 2018. I had a lot of like, New York gave me hell, and like really gave me hell.
You were warned about this. This was not.
I was warned about this, and I did not realize what hell meant. And that hell made me really change my life. And like I don't know, I just was like, life is so short. I have to get on the road. Like that's what I want to be doing the most. So I had one of those things where it's like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to do what I want. Like, I'm in New York. It's worked out for me. Now I'm still here. I'm still living and breathing. So like, life's way too short. I'm not messing around. I'm going. So that's when I really started to do that.
I like that.
After the hell came. Yeah.
I don't like that so much, but
but you know, I overcame it. Like it really could have been one of those things where I like just went home and like, you know, called it quits. But yeah, I put a bigger fire under my ass.
That's good though. You need that.
Yeah. It's good for the control freak thing. It works.
Going back to the music kind of side of things, so in your music specifically, do things that happen in your life in a personal thing kind of more often inspire a song rather than looking outwardly at somebody or something else?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty personal. I mean, it's like I've written in both ways, but usually it is like how I process my feelings. It's like extremely like cathartic to me. And you know, it's not like so much of like literal things. Like I'm always writing lyrics and stuff like that. And it kind of comes together in different ways. So, but usually it's more interpersonal turmoil and overcoming things. Little stories. But I have written songs about other people and from other people's perspectives or how I viewed their story. Yeah.
Right, like the owner of the lot in Salt Lake. Yeah, good deal.
No water, no bathroom.
And then like later on, like you don't even get to, because it's so powerful in those moments, you don't even get to what you did to retaliate against them. That was like that's fighting against the system. And the by the way, that lot is on your little booking like thing just for that little area of Salt Lake, right?
Oh, right. It says roaddog booking, like
yeah, but that's the only place that you play, right? That you have other people play as well as just a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I'll have them. I'll be like, okay, I'll do like East Coast South tour for you, but really I'll just book the only show at the lot, and they have to drive
just the tiniest. Yeah.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everything else... I tell them, I remind them of like what my growing up experience was of how I had to become a road dog. It took training, and I make sure they go through Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I actually I boot their car if I'm there the whole time. I'm in the back, and if they try to avoid Kansas, their car gets booted.
You're just gonna keep it straight for a while. Right. Yeah. I'll tell you when it's good to go. Yeah, you're really hands-on with that, which is beautiful. But it's just everything else is beautiful, kind of theaters and all this great. You guys do arenas too. You guys are moving into that circuit as well.
Right. Yeah.
But
stadiums, arenas,
that kind of thing. Yeah, because Elton John. I mean, I don't know if I'm able to say it right now, but Elton John expressed interest. That was one of the emails for the person who wants to be trained. That's who you're thinking about training, right? Right. Because he's
John,
phasing out of the touring thing, but he still wants to be involved in some way.
Right. And he caught on to Road Dog and was like, this is really cool what you're doing. I feel like I missed this part of my career. I missed something, and I need to experience the Road Dog experience to understand.
And it's a maybe. You might take him on.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he can afford me.
That's what I tell Bezos all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably hard to get. Yeah.
It's what you got to do in this business.
It's cutthroat.
It's
yeah. It's a but the lot. Yeah. And Elton John will be performing there soon. That and it'll be good. Moving forward though, how do you feel when somebody approaches you after a show about like a song that they really, really were connected to, that is about something super like personal experience that you had? Does that kind of change the way that you view it? Or is it like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that I had this experience and it's relating to somebody that has no idea what it's about?
It's definitely taken time. I feel like when I first started playing my songs live, I was very like shy, and I'd be like, oh no, like, like me, but now I'm like, definitely like I will say thank you and thank you for listening. And when they share their experiences, it I'd say it's valid. I'm like I'm connected to the songs, and the songs like have so many lives to them, and their meanings change every time. Even if I wrote the song from a very personal and deep place, like it can mean something different to me, And I think a lot of my songs, actually, there's a lot of reconciliation and hope, and like a transformative time where it's not just all bleak and sad. There's a moment of clarity. There's a moment of like processing and overcoming. So there's enough for me to understand. I feel really like honored and grateful when someone connects to a song, like particularly, actually, I think some of my newer songs from the second record, maybe just because I'm so it's where I'm at right now, and I'm very heavily writing this record and really excited for it. At the live shows, I'll play a few of the new songs, and it makes me very happy when people are connecting to those songs and hearing that, because presently that's more of where I'm resonating. That's nice. Yeah.
Awesome. And
but I'm able now. I just say thank you. You just say like it's
hard,
that's how
though.
I feel.
It's hard. It though? It's hard. You're like, fuck. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I'm like ripping. Yeah, I'm just like ripping myself. I'm just like, thank you. Oh, it's so vulnerable. Yeah. It was my flesh.
My flesh. Yeah, my flesh. Yeah, really gotta just shorten the stuff when you're in control.
Yeah. They're like, that was such a great set, and I'm like tearing skin off.
You're like, yep. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm happy to give you some joy. It's just painful. It's just painful.
Yeah, it is painful. But I'd say like no one wants to hear. I've been on the other side where you compliment someone's set and they're like, oh, I don't know, like we fucked up this one thing, it's like nobody wants to be on that other side. And once I really learned that, I was like, oh yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like,
because where do you go from there as on the other side of that? Like,
right, yeah, they're like, okay, and then they like retract their compliment. They're actually, like, maybe
you go, yeah, I actually did notice that, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that we're just speaking openly, yeah, that really sucked when you went like that. Oh man, that looks so just crazy. I was just really turned off. I just was actually here just to give you some support, because I thought you were going to quit after that. Truthfully, I thought I'd come up and say something to stop you.
Yeah, I'm just blowing smoke right now, like, yeah. Because I used to think that when it would just be my friends seeing me live, I'm like, oh, they're just being nice, like, And then when I started touring and realizing that complete strangers were connecting to my music, I was like, oh, okay, like this isn't just my friends just saying that it sounded good.
That's special. That's awesome. The new album, as previously mentioned, no roof, no floor.
Where you at?
In the lot. WYA. That's as abbreviated, right? Yeah. That's in brackets. WYA. Yeah.
Yeah. We're a month and 5 or 6 days. It's crazy because I recorded this record 2 years ago, and it's felt like
2 years.
Slow.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. Quick turnaround. Very quick.
Yeah. Like the record plant and all that, everything has been in order since the pandemic happened.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have heard about that.
And so that's why I put the EP out, is because my record got pushed back, and I was like, okay, like I put together an EP, and so some of those recordings were more recent than this album, so so this album I recorded 2 years ago. September, October of 2020. So it felt like forever, and now that it's like a month out, I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like every day just like, how is time going by so fast? Like it cannot slow down right now.
I'm
awesome. Like looking at my calendar right now, just like,
you go, okay, I have this really important interview with the Vineyard podcast.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for it. Yeah,
it's on Oh, it's only on one of my calendars. I'm sorry. But it's
Yeah,
on my other
I'm
to-do
not.
list. I have it on my to-do list, and then I have it on my daily calendar.
So it's a chore. Okay, it's not something to look forward
Yeah,
to. Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
See,
I
there you
understand what
go.
I said.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's a chore. Yeah. No,
yeah.
on the whiteboard, it has stars and smiley face
And a
and
fuck and like some bracket.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. I get it. Yeah. No, it is. It is a chore for people to come on, but I appreciate everybody that does. And thanks, Scout. Appreciate it.
I'm stoked to be on here.
No, I'm stoked to have you on. No, I am. No, this is it. This has actually been really fun. But back to the albums.
Record.
Okay, we got stuff to talk about here. Okay,
Yes.
so this was recorded before the EP with the covers on it and the one original. Correct.
Yes. Yes. Well, besides 1 to 10 was recorded February of 2020, right before the pandemic. 1 to 10, the bass, like the main stems, and then I did overdubs this last winter on them and changed my vocals. I redid the vocals.
Oh, wow.
Then the other covers, Come On, Let's Go, also was recorded in September of 2020. And then the rest of the covers I just recorded in my bedroom that month. So it was
It's government funded. Yeah.
government funded.
Government funded covers. Yeah.
And yeah, so the record, I did that session in September, October of 2020. And that was in Stanfordville, New York at the Chicken Shack. And it was such a great experience. It was so amazing. And I loved working with Nick Kinsey, the producer. He played with Kevin Morby for years. And I just had seen that studio floating around and really resonated with it because I grew up in the country. And it's we recorded live in the barn, and when I did my vocals I was maybe on some mushrooms in the pitch dark with the barn doors open,
just fucking road dog in it. Classic road
dog. Oh my gosh, there's and there's crickets in the record, and that's one of my favorite things about the record. It's because, bringing back to Amy Winehouse Frank, one of my favorite things about that record is the crickets in some of her tracks. And it just so happened that it was bleeding into the vocal mics, but it's something I really wanted to keep because I was no, this is a part of this record. And
that's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. And you said it was with the doors open. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, the barn doors were open so I could see the moon and the stars, and it was really and I turned off every time I do vocals. I want it to be pitch black. I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to be yeah. Yeah.
Was this in later on into the night or earlier on into the night?
Most of the vocal takes that I feel were memorable, the most memorable tracks were at night. I don't know, I feel the moon is a big part of just, I don't know, I just like the moon, that's all. Okay, I just like the moon, and it's I feel really connected to it. So I feel the most memorable ones. I know we did some of the tracking for the vocals in the daytime.
And you said this, I gotta overdub this.
Yeah, I said this doesn't work for me. I need no light. Yeah.
No, too bright.
Very easy to work with.
It's classic road dog. Yeah. Do you think that you would have still done the covers EP if the No Roof No Floor had came out earlier when it was supposed to?
Probably not.
Ooh. Well, I'm kind of glad that it didn't come out then, because we got this little taste.
I know.
Of your vocal
range. I really love the EP. I mean, it's cool because it was just they were okay, do you have any additional assets? And I'm always recording. I'm always, doing stuff. And I was well, yeah, I got some things, but I don't know if I wouldn't have been asked, I would have just maybe someday, but it definitely wasn't but it was really nice because it was an ease into the record. You know what I mean? This is also new to me. I had 7 YouTube subscribers, you know, like starting out, and like now it's like 56. You know, I'm kidding. I don't know how. I think it's more than that, but like, you know, it's just cool.
It does feel
You
good
know,
when you see it, when you're like, oh, hey, whoa, somebody's paying attention. Hey, look alive
I
here.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to like find a balance through like the Spotify thing, you know, like, I mean, I'm so blown away by how many plays that I've had. Like, I've never, you know, in Shadow Year, I was stoked when we hit 1,000 plays, you know, like, so having like almost 13,000 on 1 to 10, like, I'm like, what? That is so cool. Like 13, and you can see like what countries people are listening to it. And I'm
For a
like,
road dog, that's huge. It's like, I mean, some roads don't even lead there. Like I had to fly to get to that road. I get what you're
right.
saying. Yeah, it's just so out of context, but it's welcome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's raw.
Exactly.
It's
It's raw. It's raw.
it's raw.
So I'm and No Roof, No Floor is a very raw record. I'm like very excited. It's like I yeah, I'm just excited for it to be out in the world, and like I have so much going on up until the end of the year and like potential for next year. So it's looking like this road dog's gonna be on the road most of the time. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what to do. I have spent a lot of my time in West Virginia. Since the pandemic, I have like my best friend's mom lives out there and has property. So I'm like, yeah, should I sublet my room and just like go to West Virginia in between being a road dog or what? So uh
That's
uh
awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited. I have a November and a December tour and a potential January tour, and I got to record the second record, hopefully in February, and then tour March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. No.
Wherever you are, she's coming.
Yeah,
She's coming with the
wherever you
dogs.
are. Yeah.
She's coming with the dogs. You better be ready.
Where are you?
I'm in Orange County, California. So you're gonna be coming to the
I'll be
lot,
here in
right?
December. Yeah, I'll be here in December. I'll be there in December.
I will also be here at the lot. That's where
Okay.
that's where I'll be. So and I know you're gonna stop by, of course.
Yeah, if you look up
Favorite
Road
place.
Dog Booking, the you know, the location number or whatever, it takes you to the lot. So if anyone's confused of like, where can I go to this highly acclaimed, you know, this venue that Scouts talk so highly of, just look up Road Dog Booking on Google and it will take you to the lot.
Secrets out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way to blow the spot. Okay. Does this album, does it feel done, or does it feel like it won't be done until it's out, until like it's released?
Gosh. Yeah, I guess we'll just see how it goes. I mean, it's weird because like the songs never feel done for me. Like I said, like, you know, performing, that's why I love performing so much, is because these songs have evolved to mean so much more to me over time. And you know, I sing them differently. My voice changed a lot. And I think like, yeah, it'll definitely be a relief when it's out. Like, just because my favorite tracks of the record aren't the singles. I'm not a singles girl. I mean, I have a ton of 45s, but not like, you know, I like the deep cuts. And so my favorite songs are,
B-sides, deep cuts,
yeah,
road
yeah, yeah.
dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the B-sides. So I'm really excited for some of those tracks to be out in the world. And yeah, and then I'm excited for just playing shows.
Where did the title come from?
The third track on the record is called No Roof, No Floor. And when I was really funded by the government and thriving, I liked to purchase psychedelics and go to the beach. My choice was mushrooms. And I had a very
Classic.
I had a very thanks government. I had a very deep whole thing happen It felt like a rebirth when I was floating in the ocean, skinny dipping with my roommates.
Was
And
this at nighttime as well, or was this daytime
this was
activities?
daytime. This was sunset.
So this is not singing
Um,
hours. This is almost singing hours, but
this is
not
almost,
quite.
and I sang that night and wrote this song. And
Really?
yeah,
Oh wow,
I
that's
I
great.
so I had this thought. I was like, I just thought no roof, no floor to tell the water from the air. And then I was thinking about how in the water, if you fight the tide, then you get destroyed. But if you just like go along with it and zone out, like it'll just like you'll coast. And I was like, damn, I want to live my life like this. I want to love like this. I want to love with no fear. I want to like live with no fear. I want to embody this feeling of when I float in the ocean. And I just, it's so scary in the ocean. But if you really truly relax, it's beyond anything. It's so cool. And yeah, it's like it's one of my favorite songs from the record. And no roof, no floor was in the lyrics, and I shared with my roommates, and my roommate Matt Allen said, "No roof, no floor. That should be the title of the record." And I was like, like I just like was like, yes, that's it. And I was already kind of playing with the imagery of like the ghost and showing transition for the record cover. And so I was like, actually no roof, no floor is so fitting because it's about being in a transitional time. And you know, there's a lot of like there are grievances in the record, but like I said, a lot of my writing has that like moment of reconciliation and hope and overcoming it. So I like that, no roof, no floor. And that's about like being in a transitional time and finding yourself through it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. And that's October what 28th, right?
28th, right
October.
before Halloween. If you're
Spooky
in New
season.
York, spooky season. If you're in New York, my brother's coming up from Kansas City to perform magic. He's a magician,
Mm-hmm.
and he's doing that in the New York and also for my homecoming show in Kansas City,
And
November
those
17th.
that's November 17th, and October 28th is the album release for New York, right?
Yes, at Union Pool.
The Union Pool. And people can
And it's
get
halfway sold
tickets.
out. It's halfway sold out. I know. So people can get tickets online.
It'll it that, that that'll be linked in the description of this video. If you are a New York City resident, you can go ahead and go buy those. And the Kansas City one will be as well, if that
Oh,
is
that's
uh
announced. That's announced and all of that. Yeah.
Missouri.
Missouri.
You're yeah. If you're a lot local like myself, you'll be attending that one more than the city folk one. But
Yeah,
that's just
you're gonna be there at the Kansas City, Missouri show, November 17th. Spotify, I already billed them for your ticket. You're actually hosting the event.
oh hey
Uh,
MC hey that no I could yeah I'm more of a KJ karaoke jockey, but you know
oh, all right, right.
this is that's a technical term. I don't know if you're in the business of
It,
karaoke.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I dabbled.
this is a little bit of inside baseball for you. You're welcome. Anyways, no, Scout, it's been an absolute pleasure
Totally.
sitting and chatting with you. And again, that's October 28th that the new record is out. No roof, no floor. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm
Thank
looking
you.
I'm looking forward to it. Are you?
I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to get on the road. I'm stoked to release the record.
I
I'm
I, I
stoked to
believe
talk
the
to
road
you.
stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
one
yeah.
out of those three things. That was one truth, two lies right there. But anyways, Scout, listen, we gotta do some other promo though before we cut you loose here.
Okay.
So you can stream Scout's other music, the first kind of EP. It's technically an EP, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking for like verbal validation, but that's okay. So just shake that. That's all right. Um that's streaming everywhere though. That Spotify,
Everywhere.
YouTube,
Bandcamp.
Apple,
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp,
Bandcamp. Bandcamp. Bandcamp Friday is October 1st. Shout that out.
October 1st. And
I
that's
do get money from that. That's cool. So
mhm. Yeah, Bandcamp Fridays, definitely go. And that'll be, if you are happening to listen to it on that Friday, it'll be linked below as well. So you can just go ahead and go click that. And I mean, the government is helping out, but not as much as we want it to. So, you could also help out as well. Nobody's stopping you for doing that. But all your music is streaming everywhere, whatever you listen to, and hopefully you could buy some singular tracks on the Bandcamp, and as well as when this No Roof No Floor comes out, you could also buy those, which would be awesome.
Yeah, you can buy a physical record at a show. Just wherever people are going, I can.
You could, but you could also just use Bandcamp, because that's what she wanted in the beginning. Not just, don't buy the physical release, just buy those tracks. No, definitely do that. And it's out through Captured Tracks. We gotta mention that Captured Tracks putting it
Shout
out.
out to Captured Tracks, yes.
Awesome. And there's some new music videos out on the YouTube, which is, I highly recommend watching those as well. It's good accompaniment to this. And are you releasing one more single before it comes out?
One more tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll already be out. And that, because this will be out on Friday, so that'll already be out. So go ahead and go check that out. Actually, that'll also be linked. Scout will be sending me all these links for all these things as soon as we're done here. So all that good stuff will be in the description of this video. And the latest single right now, though, is Slow Dancing, which is also going to be accompanying the other one. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to, even though this will be out later, I don't want to spoil it for myself. Huge fan,
right.
Huge fan. And all that good stuff's on YouTube, and go check it out, and let's go get her some more subscribers, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Like, subscribe, comment, I'm engaged with my fans, I'll like your comment.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Where's the best place that people can stay up to date with you? Was it on Instagram? Is it the best place?
Yeah, I'd say, I make zines though too. And that I try to keep those current, and I'm gonna work those more. I'm gonna work those in to the album rollout and like my tours and stuff. So through Instagram for like current shows and stuff like that, through the journey and like the process of me writing my songs, there will be zines and physical zines to order on Bandcamp or pick up at a show.
This fucking Bandcamp. Okay, yeah, we get it. Okay, Bandcamp.
Okay, Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. Go definitely go check out the link. There's some good stuff and some merch. There's merch there too. So definitely go buy some merch as well.
Tapes that I made, CDs I made, shirts I screen printed.
I thought there's something else. That's why I went like that. I thought that you were gonna
zines.
There we go. Oh, much better. Yeah, roaddog, and that's on Instagram at just roaddog touring. Booking.
Roaddog booking.
roaddog.booking.com on Instagram.
Yeah, www.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe you got that name. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Scout, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting.
Thank you.
The album is out October 28th through Captured Tracks.
Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for having me on.
Got it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop recording this. I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. October 28th through Captured Tracks. Check it out. Right?
Yeah.